Hey guys, this is Comic Inno, and today I'm doing a review for Supergirl. So last week we had a little bit of a hiatus, we didn't have an episode, but finally the show is kinda totally returned now, which I'm happy. And this episode is focused on Toyman and Win. So our major villain is Toyman, who is Win's father, played by the same guy who played Conrad in Revenge, which I was really happy about because I'm a huge Revenge fan. And we get to see that Win is finally seeing that he's kind of like his father, and he doesn't want to be like his father, and he has the guts now to kiss Kara. Now this changes their relationship totally, because Kara does not feel the same way about him, and Win's not backing down. He's not forgetting about the kiss, and he does not want to be like his father anymore, to be a coward, and this whole entire Toyman incident in this episode really makes him realize that. So now it's what happens here. Is Kara gonna say, yeah, I like you? What's her feelings here? So that is definitely the big reveal. Other B plots going on is that Lucy gets a job at Catco, and James is not as happy as Lucy thought he would be, and this obviously probably has to do with the feelings he has for Kara, and the feelings he doesn't have for Lucy, but I guess still does. And Kat even says, hey, it's obvious that you and James like each other, so it's very much playing on the love triangle thing in this episode. Other things is that Martian Manhunter uses his powers a bit more because Alex pushes him to, and it shows how powerful Martian Manhunter truly is, especially with his psychic powers. And if you watch Young Justice, you totally know that with Miss Martian's character, and I think you definitely get the same type of feel here. Hopefully we get to see Miss Martian in this show. I don't know if it'll be this season. I would love to see that next season. And then, last but not least, is Maxwell Lord, and he finds out that Supergirl is the sister of Alex Danvers, so we'll see what he does with this information. Also, we actually got to see Agent Chase from the DEO, which is probably the biggest DEO agent, but she's not from the DEO here. She's in the FBI here, but in the comics she is from the DEO. And that is actually played by the person who played Anya in Buffy, which is awesome, Emma Caulfield. And I thought they would do the blonde hair for her. I guess that's my only nitpick, because she has blonde hair in the comics, she had blonde hair in Buffy, but they gave her black hair here, so I thought that was an interesting change. But I'm excited to see more of Agent Chase in the future, because again, she's kind of the supporting character in the DEO, and it's great that they're introducing her in this way. Maybe they're going to integrate her in the DEO, and I hope we get to see a little bit more of her personality. But you definitely could tell that she doesn't like to take shit from anybody, and that's the personality that comes through here. So what did I like about this episode? Really like the A story. I gotta say, I think Supergirl does its best with the minor villains, and I still think does the best with the major villains too, but just making minor villains feel, Toyman's not a minor villain, but an episode villain, which I definitely think Toyman will come back again, but he's not a major villain for this season. So I think Supergirl does a really good job at showing those villains, showing that every villain's important and they really do have a backstory. And I think Supergirl's done that the best so far compared to Arrow and Flash, because those are actually my biggest complaints about those shows, is that they're one-shot villains that are big in the comics, but just shown for an episode in those shows. They're just kind of used for the fight. Their story could be fleshed out a lot more. So, for me, that's something I really liked about Toyman, probably because the actor did such a great job, too, but it was also, well, both actors, Jeremy Jordan did a great job here, also, but I think it was great that we get to see Toyman fully fleshed out here. His motives were fully fleshed out, and I thought that was very entertaining for this episode. So that was definitely the best part. Action was pretty well done too. There were some special effects things that could have been a little bit better, with the ice crashing in the con area, the toy con. I thought that could have been a little bit better, but I like the action for the most part. I think the flying scenes are getting a lot better. And there was this quicksand scene, that is a mouthful, where I thought that Kara would have had enough arm strength to get out of that, so I thought that was a little weird, but it was still a cool scene to see her use her breath a lot in this episode, and in different ways, her super breath, so I thought that was interesting. So even though there are slight negatives towards the action, there's definitely a lot more positives and originality in the action for this episode. Other positive I thought was Maxwell Lord. His story's going really in an interesting direction with Martian Manhunter's story. Even though I thought Alex did push a little bit too much in this episode about, hey, you're Martian Manhunter, show it, show it, show it. Like, they mentioned it about too much in this episode. I still like the outcome of Martian Manhunter using his powers, and then Maxwell Lord finding out that Kara or at least Supergirl and Alex are sisters. And that's just such a great moment. I mean, some of the best parts of the show is between Alex and Kara, and that was just a great ending scene. Reminding me a lot of the pilot and why I love the pilot of the show. So that was great. Part I thought was the weakest here was actually Lucy's story. As much as I'm so excited to see more of Lucy, because I love her character in the comics and what Sterling Gates did with her character in the comics, I hope they can flesh her out more to be her own character. I think her character is very defined with Jimmy, which is weird, because she's very preachy about, like, oh, you know, I'm a strong female character, but her character right now is very defined into Jimmy's storyline and their romance, and I guess the love triangle between Jimmy and Wynn and Kara, and I guess Love Square, because Lucy's in there too. But yeah, I think Lucy maybe dealing more with her dad or something else besides Jimmy. That's something that's needed. I think honestly, Lucy needs her own episode. As much as I love that Wynn had his own episode, and obviously he's been on the show longer, I think Lucy would definitely benefit from just like kind of discovering a little bit more about her character and what makes her great. Especially if they're going to build up to her, you know, I guess if they're going to do in the show, a Superwoman persona. I hope so, because that's a great portion of her character. So last thing I want to talk about with this review is definitely this Love Square. How do I feel about it? I still don't love it, but I think it gave a lot for Wynn in this episode, and I loved how Jeremy Jordan portrayed Wynn in this episode. You really saw the emotion about him thinking he'd be like his father, and you also, as an audience member, don't know. Can he be the villain? Can he not be the villain in the end? Can he be separate from his father? And I thought this was a very interesting episode for him and a needed episode for Wynn. And I'm excited to see where the relationship between Kara and Wynn will go after this. I'm very curious. But at the same time, again, triangle, you know, Jimmy being included in all this, I don't know how to feel about it. But hopefully they could deal with it in an interesting way in the next couple of episodes. Next episode looks great. It looks a bit more Martian Manhunter heavy, which is, again, a great thing. White Martian look awesome in the promo. Love the graphics there, and I've liked a lot of the Martian Manhunter graphics so far, so I'm very excited for that. So that's my opinion. I thought it was definitely a better episode this week than 2 weeks ago, and the villain was very well done in this episode. But let me know in the comments below, what did you think of Supergirl this week? And yeah, of course, I'll have another review for Supergirl next week. And this is Comic Uno. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter. Don't forget to like my Facebook page. Also, description below, there's links for my comic book, Like Father Like Daughter. And don't forget to like the Facebook page of Like Father Like Daughter. I'll see you guys later. Bye.